When Taylor Swift appeared on the New Heights podcast, it wasn't just an interview, it was a meticulously staged unveiling of a new chapter. Every frame loaded with deliberate choices, each one a breadcrumb for the fans who know to look for meaning in the smallest details, and from the moment the teaser dropped it was clear. This was not casual, this was a coded performance, a puzzle box wrapped in charisma and color. Starting with the precision of the timing itself, because nothing Taylor does is without layers, and the decision to launch her announcement exactly at 12 minutes past midnight on the 12th day of the month was no coincidence, a perfect symmetry that connected to her 12th studio album while still nodding to her talismanic number 13, a pairing that Swifties have long considered part of her creative DNA. And then there was the teaser's length, 13 seconds, a blink of an eye for most artists. But for Taylor, a deliberate wink at those who keep track of every time she honors her favorite number. And within those 13 seconds, the world was drenched in orange, a color rarely central in her palette before now but suddenly dominating the scene with its warmth, vibrancy, and creative energy, a signal flare that this was the beginning of her so-called orange era. A shift in tone from past aesthetics and a deliberate break from the muted and cool tones of earlier chapters, and she paired it with a striking mint green briefcase emblazoned with bold orange initials TS, a prop that seemed to hum with significance, as if it carried the secrets of the album's visual identity or even the record itself, a pop culture Pandora's box that fans could only speculate about, while her clothing choice, a crisp white button-down shirt and a tailored skirt, offered a canvas of minimalism that made the colors and accessories around her explode with meaning. And those accessories were not chosen at random. They told a story in themselves, with the panther necklace draped around her neck in a sleek, feline form that spoke of power, grace, and a predatory elegance, while the glinting watch at her wrist hinted at time as a theme, at precision, at moments counted down. And as the camera lingered, fans began to notice the small, deliberate alignments, the lipstick that matched the orange typography, the subtitles in that same hue, the way every element of her look and the set itself was speaking the same visual language, a unified code for those paying attention. And as images of this appearance exploded across fan accounts and discussion threads, theories multiplied like wildfire, with some pointing out that orange and mint together form a palette associated with freshness, transformation, and playfulness. Others noting that 12 and 13 had been woven together here in ways they hadn't seen before, suggesting an era that would bridge to worlds in her discography, an era both familiar and new. And all of this was happening against the backdrop of her relationship with Travis Kelce, whose podcast provided the platform for this reveal, making the moment not just about music, but about blending personal narrative with professional artistry, a merging of worlds that Taylor has always excelled at. And so the Easter eggs became not only about the album's aesthetics, but about the story she's telling through her life as well, a tapestry where the personal fuels the creative and vice versa. And in that sense, even her choice of venue became an Easter egg. New Heights, a name that doubles as a metaphor for her own career trajectory. And as the conversation in the podcast unfolded, every laugh, every glance, every pause seemed loaded with subtext, a performance within a conversation where the real script was being written in the symbols, the timing, and the unspoken, because Taylor Swift has built an entire career on rewarding those who pay attention. And here she was again, rewarding them with a masterclass in layered communication, where a necklace isn't just jewelry, a briefcase isn't just a bag, a countdown isn't just a clock, and a color shift isn't just a palette change, but part of an elaborate breadcrumb trail leading to the music, the videos, and the live performances that will define her 12th era. And so by the time the short teaser looped for the 100th time on fans' phones, the theories had evolved into sprawling narratives, connecting the orange era to past motifs, linking the mint green to earlier hints in her tour visuals, speculating about collaborations, setlists, and music video concepts. And still, at the center of it all, was the image of Taylor on that set, poised between minimalism and spectacle, between grounded conversation and soaring theatricality. A duality that has always been part of her genius, because this was never just about dropping an album, it was about creating an event that lives in the imagination before it lives in the charts, about turning a simple podcast appearance into a world-building exercise, about making fans feel like co-conspirators in a secret so large it can't be contained by a single moment. And so every second of that appearance, every frame of that teaser, becomes part of a collective treasure hunt that will continue until the album drops, and probably long after. Because Taylor knows that the art is not just in the music, it's in the anticipation, the decoding, the way people come together to share their findings. And with the life of a showgirl now shimmering on the horizon, the orange glow of that first reveal still lingers, not as a single flash in time, but as the opening note of an era that promises to be bold, layered, and unforgettable, and for those who have been trained to look closer, to dig deeper, to never take anything in her world at face value. This was not just an appearance, it was a declaration, a whispered promise that the best clues are the ones hiding in plain sight.